So as fishermen, we've all been down this road before, and if you haven't been down the road, I guarantee you're going to. And I'm talking about broken rod tips, damaged eyes. Instead of throwing your rod away or sending it off to get it fixed, I'm going to show you how I fix my rod tip today with the OJ and Dewey rod tip kit. Now I'll have this link in my description of the video. It's around $15. It comes with 10 tips. It comes with a resin. It comes with thread, and it also comes with a epoxy, and it has a UV curing light with it. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to fix the rod tip. So I hope you enjoy the video. Alright guys, so I'm just going to give you a little, I'm going to let you know what I have is for my setup. I have a little pair of needle nose. I have my rod sitting here. This is actually Theo's rod. He damaged his rod last year. And the ceramic ring out of the rod tip actually came out. I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in on that. But that rod tip is damaged. What I did was I just grabbed 2 boxes and laid my rod across the table on the 2 boxes so I can work with this as up in the air. I have my kit here. I have a butane torch so I can heat this up to get this tip off, and then I also have a paper towel laying down on the table so I don't get anything on the table. You want to make sure you protect your space you're working in. I do have a ring light on, and that is not for lighting for the video or nothing. That is just so I can see this rod tip. So I should have my glasses on. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what's in here. It comes with a pack of the rod tips here, and there's different sizes in here. So we're going to have to match up a size for this after we get this off. It comes with some thread. It has the UV light so you can cure your epoxy with this. And I'm going to open this epoxy up and see if it has it has a dropper. So we're going to put that on, and then we're going to cure it with that after we tie it. It comes with a resin stick, and it also comes with some sandpaper, some emery cloth. There's 2 pieces in there. And this kit, like I said, will be linked in the description of the video. It's about $15.99 for the kit. So I think it's well worth it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Alright guys, so I got the butane torch lit. I'm just heating the eye up a little bit. I don't want to melt the carbon fiber. The carbon on this rod, you can definitely damage that really easy with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this heated up right here for a second. Then I'm going to shut this off. You can see it's smoking a little bit. And we're going to take this, I'm going to try to grab this eye, and I pulled it right off. Okay, so that is off. We're going to put that aside on the table, and then we're going to get a piece of paper towel here that I have laying here actually. I'm going to rip a piece of this off, and I'm just going to wipe this rod off with anything that's on there. And I didn't damage anything on the tip. That's what we do not want, to damage that tip. Okay, so we have the old tip right here. It's going to be a little hot from the lighter. So there's the tip right there. Just set that off to the side. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take the rod tips out of the package, and that's a pretty thin rod tip there. So we're going to dump them all out here, see what fits. And it's looking like, let's see if that might be too small. And this is why I have the light that's too small. I think we're going to put this one maybe on there. Okay, that one does fit. Okay. So we're going to put that on here like that and make sure, I can't see real well. Okay, so that rod tip right there is what we're going to use for that right there. There's a couple different sizes here. Alright, so I'm going to prepare this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this. Let me fold this open. I'm going to sand this down a little bit just to rough it up a little bit. I don't want to take any, you got to be careful you don't damage that carbon fiber on this rod. So I'm just taking the sandpaper and just rubbing it on there lightly like that. And that's all you need to do. So I'm going to get the other stuff ready here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the old thread that's on here, I'm going to heat that up. And what I'm doing is I'm just heating it up very lightly to just loosen that epoxy and everything that's holding that thread on. So we're going to take that, let that burn right there for a second, let it cool down. We're going to take that and we're just going to wipe off that thread and everything, and this can get real hot, so you got to be careful with it. Then I have a razor blade here to sort of start that, sort of cut that thread a little bit. So once I cut that thread without damaging the carbon fiber, I'm going to cut that thread off. And you can see it's all coming off now, but you just got to be very, very careful. That's why I have the ring light on here. Don't ever cut towards your hand like I do. And we're just going to nick that off a little bit and get that thread cut. And it takes a little bit. You don't want to, you want to take your time to get that off of there. There we go. Like I said, I don't want to damage that rod tip at all. We're going to heat it up again a little bit. Very lightly heat that up. And that thread is coming right off there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's coming off. There we go. Now it's all cleaned up. I'm going to take that sandpaper again. I'll wrap it around that rod tip, and I'm just going to sand it down a little bit just to get all the debris off of there and everything, and make it nice and smooth, and give it a little bit of a, you know, roughen it up a little bit and get any extra epoxy off of there. Okay, so that's it. So that's prepared. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my rod tip ready, my resin ready to go. We're going to glue the rod tip on, and then I'll show you how to wrap it. Okay guys, so we're going to heat this up a little bit. Can actually burn this resin. Okay, and then we're going to put some on the tip of this, just like so. Put it on there, let that sit down there. Take the rod tip and put it on. Twist it as you go. That's what I like to do, is twist it on. I push it on pretty good. Line it up with your next eye. Take this and just wipe that off. It's a little messy, but you wipe that off. Check that rod tip again. Look down the eye, set it. And we're looking good. And that is set, and we're ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is, since I got that on there, oops, sorry. Since that's on there now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up again to get some of that glue heated up with the rod tip so it adheres to it. Very lightly. Okay. Make sure everything's good. Get that on. I'm just looking straight down the rod. That's why I like to have this up in the air a little bit so you could see it. Okay, so that's the rod tips on there. Let me put this heat away, and then we're gonna thread it and wrap it, and then we're gonna use the epoxy. Stay tuned. Okay, so what I did was I took some of the thread and I made a loop, and I tied the end of the loop here, so I have just a little loop there. And I'm going to leave that to the side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thread. Now this is very, very, very thin. So what I'm doing is I'm laying it over top of the rod tip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it. Okay. I'm going to sort of just try to catch it. It's almost like you're tying a fly. Catch it going on itself. Okay. And leave that lace flat down there. And then wrap it. And we're going to wrap it around itself all the way back down through. And all the way down the rod tip. You don't want to go too far, but you want to have a nice wrap there. And then what I do is I push it on tight. I'll wrap it a little bit further down. And then what I like to do is take the end, the tag end of it, and fold it. Keep it tight. Keep the tag end up, and I fold it back over itself. And then I'll start going back up it again. So we want to make sure everything's tight. Take the tag end up to itself and wrap it at least around it once just to hold it there. Okay, now we're just wrapping it again. I'm going to go a couple times around there. So we got it wrapped. Get it real nice and tight, nice looking. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the razor, or the blade here. I'm going to pull this back, the tag end, and I'm just going to nip it. Okay, so that's off. Put that in my mouth. Make sure this is all nice and tight on here. I'm keep wrapping. This is so thin. It looks like I'm wrapping a lot, but I'm really not. It's really thin. I want to protect that rod tip as well. So, okay, now we're going to push it up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up towards the rod tip with some nice tight wraps again, like I'm finishing it. Okay. Let's get that up like this. Okay. Now I got a couple wraps left that I need to do. So what I'm going to do, it's a little bit difficult to do it with one hand. I'm going to lay this loop now on top of it, like that. A little bit difficult. I'm going to wrap the loop. See if I can wrap it around once, twice. Keep the loop up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab it, cut the string off. Then I'm going to take this, put it through the loop. Take this and put it up through the loop and grab an end of it. Okay. Then I'm going to take that loop that I tied right here and I'm going to pull that back through. So this will go under itself. Okay, so my rod fell off my box there for a second, guys. Okay, so I got that back through itself. So now what I want to do is I want to take this and cut that last tag end off. So now we have it wrapped. It's nice and tightly woven. We're going to try to get this. I'm going to move the camera just a hair. So we have that. Everything's good to go. Let me wrap this string back up through here real quick, guys. I'm going to put the little tab on here and put this back in here because I got 9 more eyes that I could fix if I need to. Take the little tag end here and get this off of here if I can. There we go. And then we're going to just stick the sticker back on there. We're going to put that right back in the box. Okay, so now we have the UV resin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squeeze this out and put it on the thread. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do is just get it all coated, spin it around and coat it. This is where you need the light. And you want to keep this moving too around. So you want to keep spinning it. That's why I got the boxes. Keep this on there. We're going to take this and just keep spinning it so it gets till it gets decently coated on there. Just got to keep it so it don't fall off the box. There we go. Keep spinning it. It's going to move down the box a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to use the light as it's spinning. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this and cure it. Put it under here. And cure it. There we go. Throw it on the top. This UV stuff's pretty neat. You could see it like forming on there actually. I might need a little bit more right there, so I'm going to put another dot or two on there if I could see it. Okay. Spinning it around. Make sure it's all nice and coated. And then we're going to use the UV light again. And push the UV it on. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Spin it. And there you go. Underneath. Don't really give you a time frame, but it sets up pretty decent with the UV light. And I think that is it, guys. Let's take this down here. Let me bring this light a little bit closer. Yeah, and that is it. There it is. There's the rod tip. Everything is in line. And we're good to go. So I'm just going to let this cure on its own now. I'm going to set it aside. And that was it. The hardest part of it is this little thread. This thread, using it and wrapping it, is just, it's hard to see. So if anybody has glasses, make sure you've got your glasses on. So yeah, so we're done. And that's hard to touch, and we're good. So we're just going to let this set up, and he'll be able to use it. Alright guys, well that's it. That's everything that you need to fix your rod tip, or eye. You can wrap the eye as well on your rod tip, so, or on your rod itself, not the tip. But this is just a rod tip kit. They have eyes as well, like your first, second, third, fourth, fifth eyes. But yeah, that's it. It was that easy. Instead of sending it out or getting it fixed, spending a couple bucks on that, you can do it yourself at home. You can do this also, keep it on your boat, and you can do that as well, as long as you have a lighter. And you could heat the resin up and put it on, or you don't even have to wrap it with the thread. You can just put the resin on, put the rod tip on, and you know, use it for the rest of the day like that. But when you have the heat, you can take the old one off. It makes it a lot easier. So, all right, well that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Hit that notifications bell as well. So you know whenever we upload new videos. And like I always say, take a kid fishing or hunting. We want to pass that sport on to future generations, and we will see ya. This video is brought to you by JJ Drones, the droning veteran, chilling in Indiana Carl, Big Tiny's Outdoors, and Keith Doc Reed.